Hey everyone, Karen Smith here, Master Strong First Instructor, and I'm going to work with you today on step 5 of our one-arm push-up progression series. So we've talked about breathing, foot position, eye position. We've talked about your body being in that plank, that nice solid foundation. So we're going to build on that today and actually start moving. So the first thing is making sure that you don't shrug, which Pavel likes to call the anti-shrug. So the anti-shrug is keeping that shoulder away from your ear, putting it down in your back pocket. So I'm going to give you 2 ways to practice that and really build that feeling in your lats and keeping your shoulders down before you start moving and set in a bad pattern. First, go into your deadlift stance or your hike pass position, and I want you to think about pressing into your knees. But first, see how my shoulders just naturally want to come up towards my ears? I need to focus on putting them in my back pockets. So you're going to push them back. Corkscrew them down and toward your hips. This will give you a nice solid foundation before you start moving. Another way to do that would be on the ground or pirouettes. You can do a bent leg sit or a straight leg sit, like an L sit. So it would look like this. And you would practice these and hold this position. Not only will it get your core stronger, but it's also going to get you just overall strong by keeping that nice tight shoulder packed. So you're going to pull down and then hold here. Nice and tall, hold that position and practice those. I promise you, you're going to get that nice lat engagement, and then you're going to be able to mimic that when we start moving. So first, at the wall, I want to talk to you about the setup. Most people want to just reach for the wall and think that this is where they're going to be. Unfortunately, at the wall, it's a little bit different. If I were to do my push-ups here, when I get to the bottom, my hands are going to be by my face, and we're not doing one-arm push-ups here. It actually needs to come in really tight by your chest. So the way that we fix that is when we're working at the wall, we actually start in the down position and then move out. So step really close to the wall, bring your hands right by your chest, and then step away. You're also going to make sure when you get in this position that you go ahead and go up on your toes, because you would never do push-ups on flat feet. So, nice planked body, hips tucked, you're on your toes, your shoulder is corkscrewed. Now, when you're first getting started with moving, I would go ahead and leave your hand here. This position is going to give you feedback if your shoulder starts to shrug. So it's going to remind you to keep that shoulder down in your pocket. So, shoulder here, hand for feedback. You're going to inhale through your nose, and you're going to pull yourself or row yourself to the ground. I also want you to think about pulling your elbow to your rib cage. We're not going to be chicken winging and bringing our elbow out to the side. So it's nice and slow. Row yourself or pull yourself to the ground, and then exhale and come back up. So we're staying here. Another important thing that you're going to find if you're doing this drill at the wall is, one, most people think that it starts out easy, but do sets of this. Do like sets of 5 on each side. Build up to sets of 10. It'll build such a good groove that when you go to the lower level, you're not going to want to shrug that shoulder because you've already set in that good pattern. The other thing that you're going to find is, if you're working at the wall, you may feel a little bit of tension in your wrist. So make sure that you stretch your wrist before and after, maybe even your fingers. Don't press too much, but make sure you stretch them before and after you do these at the wall. The next step is, if you're going to move down, if you're ready for that progression, you would make sure, same thing, that you're not shrugging that shoulder and rounding it to the ground. So remember, your setup is the same. Root your feet into the ground. Make sure you have enough space. Root your feet. Stack your shoulder, pack it. You're going to row towards this hand. And again, you can keep your hand here for feedback, or you can put it behind you, or you can put it out for assistance. But the key is that you're rowing to the ground and then using your breath and corkscrewing on the way back up. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that here again just for feedback. Inhale. And come back up. So make sure that you take your time. Don't jump to a low box too fast. Build a good pattern, groove that nice solid technique, and then lower. So like I said, build up sets of 5. When you have good solid 5 sets of 5, then maybe move down to a lower box and then eventually go to the floor. What you don't want to do is rush to the floor too quickly and not have the strength, because you could tear your pec, a bicep, and you really just shouldn't go there and then get injured, because then you're going to be starting all over after you rehab. So take it slow, be patient, and think of this 1 rep, 1 arm push-up as a 1 rep max. It's just like a heavy deadlift. You would never go straight to the heaviest weight. You have to build up. You have to do sets and reps and practice. So same thing goes here, even though you're just using your own body. So practice, and I'll be back next week for step 6. Thanks.